about buoyancy and why things float. And then we're actually going to be building boats, and I encourage you all to make these boats at home because it's going to be done with stuff that I'm sure you have sitting around in your kitchen. So before we start, we'll go over what is buoyancy. And buoyancy is really the ability for something to float in a liquid. So this is very similar to gravity, where gravity is a force that is pulling down on something. Buoyancy is the force that's pushing up from the water. So if we have this little jar lid as a boat, buoyancy would be the force that is pushing up from the water as it floats. There are two things that help something be more buoyant, and that is surface area and density. So the first one I'm going to talk about is surface area. And surface area is the amount of space that an object has that buoyant force can push up on from the water. So I have these two tomato jar lids, and one of them is a lot bigger than the other. So the bigger one has more surface area that is going to be touching the water, and so with it, more buoyant force can push up on it. And this little one, I mean, it's a little smaller, but it still does have a buoyant force coming in, just not as much. So we can do a simple little experiment to see which one is more buoyant by putting pennies in them. So I have a whole bunch of pennies right here, and I'm just going to put them in one at a time to see which one holds the most. There's one penny, two pennies, three pennies, four pennies, 5, 6, 7. Oh, and you can see that our smaller lid did just sink with 5 pennies in it. Or, sorry, I can't count. A couple pennies in it, and the bigger lid is still going strong. You could fit a lot more pennies just because it does have a bigger surface area and more force pushing up. The other thing that helps an object float is density. So density is the how much the object weighs relative to its size. So to show you density, I have 2 ping pong balls. Of course, they both have the same surface area, they're the same size, but there is a little difference to them. If you guys were able to feel them, you can feel that this one is very, very light. Well, this one obviously has some sort of filling in it. So this one is going to be more dense, and it's going to be a little more dense than the water, most likely. Well, this one is less dense. It weighs a lot less than the water. So this one is going to float, and this one's probably going to sink because of its density. You can see that as we put it in the water. The white one that has the filling in it did sink right away, while the one with the air on it is still floating, and it's not even going to sink if I try to push it down. So the next part of the activity, I'm going to be having the crew members make boats that will hold those pennies just like the tomato jars did. So I encourage everyone at home to do this activity as well. I'm sure everyone has tin foil at home in the kitchen. So this is just a 9 by 10 piece of tin foil, and I'm going to give one to Jonah and one to Daniel, and encourage them to make a boat, and encourage them to make a boat that has a lot of surface area and is going to be less dense than the water, so it can hold a lot of pennies. So it's just one piece of tin foil each, and make it into a boat, and we're going to see how many pennies it'll fit. So in this tub of water, the crew has made their own little boats. So I have my little boat, the SS Potato. What did you make, Jonah?
I have my SS Bathtub.
And Daniel, what's your boat's name?
Torpedo.
Torpedo. And we're just going to put pennies in our boats 10 at a time until they start, sinking. Then we'll put them in one at a time and see how many pennies we get in. Right. Okay. There's 10 in mine. I'll put 10 in Daniel's. 10 in Daniel's. Cool. 28 in. Hold on. There's 30 in mine. 30 in Daniel's. 30 in Jonah's.
Doing great.
40 in Daniel's. 40 in all of them.
We're gonna have pennies because I was doing so well.
Probably. 50. 50. 60. Oh, 60 in Daniel's. 70 in Carolyn's.
Mine's looking dangerous.
Should we do one at a time now?
Oh yeah. 1, 2, 73, 74, 75, 76, 76.
79, 80. 1, 2, 3, 4, 85, 86, 87. I have to reach in and grab some of these pennies.
My treasure.
89, 90, 92, 94, 96, 98, 100, 2, 4, 6, 106. Okay. And so I think all of us had a pretty good idea of when we made them. We made sure that there was a lot of surface area hitting the water, and we made sure they had these really nice walls to hold it in. So I encourage all of you to make some boats at home. Send us pictures, send us videos, see how many pennies you can fit in, see if you can beat 106 pennies, and make sure you let us know the name of your boat. We want to hear and see what you create. Jonah, did you have something to add?
Yes, I did, Carolyn. Do you know how to tell the difference between a girl and a boy ant?
I don't.
If you put a girl ant in water, it sinks. If you put a boy ant in water, it floats.
Because it's buoyant.